Good evening, everybody. Welcome to today's meditation, led here from Amsterdam, live to you, to your home. My name is Gabriel, and today I'll be leading you in a short meditation themed around how to practically meditate at your home and what are the step-by-step processes that I personally use in calibrating myself into a meditative state and then trying to dive deep into the essence of our search, that being seeking of the spirit. Now, before we start our meditation, what we do here is Sahaja Yoga. We've been doing it for about 50 years now, and it's led by Shimaji Nirmala Devi, and it's with her teachings and her guidance and her counsel that we've been able to tap into this meditative state that is spontaneous and that's born within. It doesn't require effort, it requires effortlessness. Now that could be a bit of a paradox, but today let's try and find our way into that easy state of meditation. It just requires us to master one facet of our being, and that is our attention or our chitta. So we must find a way to bring this attention that usually sways from side to side from different objects in our day-to-day life, and bring that attention back within. So if you're ready, let's start this meditation. And usually when we begin our meditation, if you've been with us before, it starts with raising the Kundalini in front of our body by placing our left hand like so, and rotating the right hand and bringing that energy up above our head and tying it. It's good to keep your eyes on your hands as you raise the Kundalini above the head. And as you raise it a second time, tie 2 knots. And the third time, 3 knots. 1, 2, 3, quite easy. The next step is, of course, the 7 bandhans, or the ties that we have around ourselves. This helps us to create a space where we can better root our attention into a meditative state, and we move our hand, right hand, up above the body and down to the other side, like so in a semicircle, which helps us bring that attention back in 7 times. I probably did more than 7 times, so it's, counting doesn't matter too much. In any case, so the analogy I'll use for today as a way to start our conversation is I personally play a bit of music, and before I play any instrument, I have to tune that instrument. Say, for example, a guitar, an acoustic guitar. If I play it without tuning it, it'll just sound horrible. It'll sound unharmonious, and it'll just sound a bit bad. Now, similarly in meditation, if we try to jump directly into this silent part of a meditation, where we close our eyes and withdraw the attention into our spirit, now that'll be quite difficult without a certain fine-tuning in the beginning. So as we fine-tune a guitar, similarly we have strings, as we know, that travel up across the body vertically, and we have chakras placed horizontally in layers across our being. And if you've been with us before, we know that these chakras and channels correspond to different moods of our being and different qualities and different elements. And before we meditate, the Kundalini messages to us which chakra, which channel needs a certain attention before we can jump into a meditative state. And that's, of course, made possible through vibratory awareness. Now, this vibratory awareness comes in a few different forms. Primarily, it can be felt through the hands, which is an extremely sensitive part of the body. It can also be felt bodily within different parts of our being, and it can also be felt on top of our head. Now, usually before I start meditation, I do the Kundalini, I do the Bandhan, and then I take a moment to observe the current balance of my chakras and of my channels. So for a moment, I'll just show you the small slide that we have. Just a quick checkup on what we're doing here. So if you look at the hands and the colors of the hands, these correspond to a specific chakra in the body. And now if we take a moment to observe the state of our chakras. Now it takes some practice to begin with, but let's take a small silent moment and we can ask that maternal internal energy within our being, the Kundalini, to guide us to the specific part of the body that requires our attention to be placed upon. So we can just open our hands on the level of our chest, like so. And we can ask silently within, Mother Kundalini, please let me see my subtle system. In true humility, we can once again ask, Mother Kundalini, please let me see my subtle system. So observe the following feelings in your hands. It could be a feeling of heat, a feeling of coolness, a feeling of numbness, or perhaps even a pulsation between either hands, or even a small pinching in specific fingertips, or something that might even be clamping on a specific finger. So just take a moment to register and note down for yourself which chakras need to be worked on. For example, for myself, I feel more weight and excess heat on my right hand. I also feel both ring fingers and slightly on the left finger, index finger. Now these of course correspond to, if you look at the chart for a moment, the center over here placed on our forehead, the center over here placed on our throat, and the weight on the right hand represents excess heat running through the whole right channel over here. And this excess heat runs up across the body to the left hemisphere and down over here towards our waist. Now, a good question would be, which chakra or channel do I tackle first? I usually tackle the channels first, and then I move on to the chakras. So if at home you've checked your specific balance today and seen what you have to work on, we can take a good 5 to 10 minutes to just work upon that specific area of the body that requires the attention. Because essentially this is the beauty of Sahaja Yoga, that it gives us the toolkit and it gives us the understanding of working what's to be balanced within ourselves. It's not a one pill, one medicine for each problem. It's a specific medication for a specific problem. And that's what makes it effective for everybody. So if you've registered and noted down, whether it's a whole hand that's a bit more heavy or a bit more cold, or specific fingers that might be feeling sensations, pains, numbing, or tinglingness, we can take a moment to just work on that. Now I'll leave the chart for a moment there on the screen so you can do a bit of a cheat sheet to see which specific area you want to work on. Now, to work on that specific area, a few videos back, we probably went through it. I usually use the application of vibrations to a specific area of the body by rotating my right hand in a clockwise manner on top of the area that requires the vibrations, that requires the positive energy to be placed. Now, this is, in technical terms, it's called nyasa, placing the specific attention to a specific chakra. But of course, since I start with the channels first, I'll work on the right channel. And to work on the right channel, there's a few ways we've done before. You can, of course, assume the position of draining that excess heat up into the ether by using the air element as a medium. So we can, of course, those who feel right-sided can take a moment to open the right hand on their lap and point their left hand, as in the small video screen, towards the sky. And here it's good to keep your eyes open. During the clearing process, it's usually best to keep eyes open. And usually if you have a small candle or if you have a small picture, just place your attention to that. So let's give ourselves a moment to first balance the channels. And I assume if you're left-sided, you know the proper protocol for that, which of course I'll quickly show you. If you're left-sided, just put down your left hand back to your lap and right hand towards the ground. So all of that downward momentum movement goes down for your right hand into the earth, but back to the right hand side. Here, of course, when we're clearing ourselves, we can ask the Mother Kundalini to activate and work within us. So for the right side, I would place my attention on the Kundalini and ask her, Mother Kundalini, please release any excess heat from my right channel. Mother Kundalini, please release any excess heat from my right channel. You can also place attention to both palms, and if you really tune into them, you can feel the subtle pulsation of energy on both of your palms. This is the exchange of energy that happens, where excess is released through the left hand, whereas the right hand takes in, receives the clearing energy. Much like in a house, if you want to air out your house, you don't open one window, you open two windows, so the air has a flow through. It's quite simple. Another method for balancing the right channel, of course, is to move, much like the bandhan we did earlier, is to move the right hand up across the left side like this and bring down the right side. The idea being that the channels work in unison and it works within a system in itself. So there's a natural balance or equilibrium that has to be maintained. So for example, If I'm too much on the right, I can counteract the force of the right side by elevating and lifting my left side, and conversely putting down the right side, like so. Now, if you're feeling left-sided, you can just do it in the opposite direction. So that is lifting the right side and putting down the left side. But we can take a quick moment just to ease in match balance in the channels. And back at home, if it's hot on your palm, it means there's a bit more work to do to bring it back into balance. And if you feel a bit more coolness in the center of your palm, that usually means it's getting better. But sometimes it takes a while to bring that balance back into your body. And there's various other treatments and mechanisms also to do that, which I'm sure have been covered in previous videos, and if not, will be covered in the forthcoming videos. So next up, after getting the channels into working order, we can tackle the chakras. So let's get back and raise both of the hands to the level of chest. And once again, see where things might be stuck, or things might just need a bit of a helping hand to get things moving. So same as before, if you're back at home, you can take a quick cheat sheet and look at the diagram to see which finger might indicate which chakra. And now we can take a moment to apply that rotation to the specific part of the body. So for example, for myself, it's the Vishuddhi chakra. And then usually I tackle the chakras in a horizontal manner. So if I feel, for example, a obstacle lower in my body, I usually work on that, and then I work upwards, since the Kundalini itself is rising in a vertical manner across the body. So it's usually good to kind of work out things in this manner. Also, when you're working out on a specific part of a chakra, you might feel that the heat or tension might move between fingers. Now, this is very commonplace, and if that happens, just follow where the tension moves. If it moves from a specific finger to a specific finger, follow it and just work on that specific part of the body. This is just the Kundalini guiding us on a order of chakras that we work through. So it's a kind of an autopilot that we can just follow and clear out specific parts of the body. So give yourself 5 to 10 minutes to heighten that sensitivity, check the chakras, and apply the attention where it's necessary. And of course, as before, we can always ask Mother Kundalini to help us clear a specific chakra, because it's our rapport and our dialogue and our teamwork with the Kundalini that helps us clear specific chakras. So an easy affirmation you can do is, if you're working on a specific chakra, you can just say, Mother, please help me clear this chakra. So for example, if I'm working on Vishuddhi, Mother Kundalini, please help me clear my Vishuddhi chakra. Now, if you know the qualities of a chakra, you can also ask the Kundalini to improve these qualities of that chakra. So you can also ask, for example, if you're working on the Vishuddhi, Mother Kundalini, please give me a sweet tongue. Please improve my communication, and please improve my collectivity. And remember to keep the eyes open for the clearing part. The moving of a hand in front of the body should be done with full attention. Let's see for a moment. Oh, it should be fine. The audio is still going, but let's just keep it like that, yeah. The rotation should be done with full attention and in a manner that's not mechanical. So you can double check if the tension in your fingers or hands are relieved, then you can work on the next chakra and apply that attention to that specific part of the body. So remember to follow if the catches seem to move to a specific part of the body, just place that attention and continue the rotation, which in essence helps the chakras move in a clockwise direction. And this movement cleanses the chakras and helps them rotate. So much like a water wheel in a river, it requires some extra effort to help it move around if there's some gunk or mud or other flotsam stuck in its wheels. So it's just a matter of cleaning. A very straightforward process, but that's good to do with one's attention. And apologies for the slight technical difficulties, but you can still hear my voice, so that should be fine for now. And let's do one last checkup and bring both of our palms to the height of our chest and see how our channels and chakras are feeling. So even if there are still catches at this point, even if there is a certain heaviness lingering in some fingers, you can always try and surrender them in the second part of actual meditation we do. So after you're happy with the inner balance and the inner cleansing, we can place both of our palms back on our lap. And at this point, we can close our eyes. We can bring that attention to our chest, to the level of our spirit. It's the spirit that resides within, that is the flickering flame of our life force, that supports us and that is us. By meditating on this aspect that is universal, but also particular to each and every one of us, we can drop any misidentifications we have and identify ourselves with that which is eternal, timeless, and ever illuming. When our eyes are closed, we can move that attention, just working with our attention, that's all. We can move that attention and fix it on that level of our chest. If there's any distractions, you can let them dissolve. If there's any stress, any anger, any tension, anything frustrating within yourself or without yourself in your surroundings, all of these can be dissolved in the ocean of the spirit. All you have to do is to allow that attention to rest in your chest, to allow that ocean to wash over your thoughts, your feeling, your mind and your body, and to purify each cell, each nerve, and each moment of time. And by going beyond the push of the future and the pull of the past, we can be in peace in the present. When we place that attention to our spirit. And it's always there, it's never gone. It's always there. And as long as you care for the welfare of your spirit, then you can always ascend and purify yourself. And if there's any fear, and if there's any doubt lingering within you, surrender them into that ocean as well. Because that space within you is limitless and goes beyond these limited feelings. And this is yoga. Yoga is to become one with that eternal essence of the Spirit. So leave any lingering thoughts behind and dive with me into that ocean within. People usually ask, how long do I have to meditate? And the answer to that is, when you feel that joy inside, when you feel alright, then it's done. It can take 5 minutes, it can take 10 minutes, it can take half an hour, it can take days. But as long as you try to find that way to your heart and to the joy that can be reached with meditation, then you're in the right place. So thank you for joining us today. And before we finish, let's just once again raise that Kundalini up above the head. Once, twice, and thrice. and 7 bandhans across the body. So, to recap for everybody, the steps that I usually do for my meditation is the clearing, so the fine tuning of the channels, then of the chakras. And while I do this, I can ask affirmations towards my Kundalini to guide her. Actually, she guides us, but to help her work out on the specific parts of the body. And the key is using our attention, and by placing our attention just in a specific part of the body, that in itself already helps to unobstruct and clear away any stress in that part of the body. And after you feel that your channels and your chakras are mostly in balance, then you can dive within and bring that attention inside. How long you sit in that silent state, as long as you feel the joy at the end of the meditation. If you feel frustrated, you can go back to the clearing and then once again try and dive and find that ocean of peace within yourself.